time in his career as a starting quarterback. Was it Pittsburgh knocking off Lamar Jackson? Was it the Bengals, Joe Burrow throwing back-to-back interceptions, which was shocking and uncharacteristic for him, and Buffalo ultimately winning that game? What stood out to you more than anything else yesterday in the NFL?
I probably would have to say that fourth down call that Andy Reid called in the fourth quarter. It's 4th and 1. Your defense just had 5 3-and-outs, I think it was.
Right.
You're on, I believe it was a 30-yard line, Stephen A., and you call a fourth down play with an offense that had been struggling up to that point. And for me, if I'm somebody like Chris Jones, right, if I'm somebody like Nick Bolton or Drew Tranquill, and I have been holding it down for this team for the past 2.5, 3.5 quarters,
right,
and you choose to go for it in that circumstance, I almost take it as a shot at my defense that you don't trust my defense to continue to dominate a Houston Texans offense in the way that they were doing, knowing that you're going against the best defense in the NFL, which is the Houston Texans defense, and what that would mean. And Kaimi Fairbairn, who went to my high school, is clutch at that yardage. Okay. So that was what stood out to me. There's a whole bunch of games, a whole bunch of scenarios, but I thought at the way that Chiefs defense was playing, how Spags had them, it literally was they burned the boats, right, Stephen A. Like they were sending blitz after blitz after blitz, and they were getting home. I thought that Andy Reid dialing up a fourth down conversion play on that side of the field was the biggest thing that stood out to me.
So Kansas City's likely not going to make the playoffs. Baltimore's likely not going to make the playoffs. That was a touchdown by the way. That was a touchdown. I can't believe they overturned that. Okay. Buffalo probably will make the playoffs. But of the surprise teams to some degree, cats that are creeping in, I'm looking at the Texans. I'm looking at the Denver Broncos. Chargers, obviously, is somebody we got to pay attention to. Got to pay attention to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are still in first place in the AFC South. Who do you think may represent the AFC?
I got the Patriots.
Wow.
I got the Patriots. I think if you look at the Patriots, you look at an offense. I call Drake May the Iron Chef. And what I mean by that is, if you know and reference the show, the Iron Chef has a secret ingredient every week, right? A different one.
Right.
When you watch Drake May play, he has a secret ingredient, a new one every single week, whether it's Diggs, whether it's Booty, whether it's Hunter Henry, whether it's Trayvon Henderson. He has a different ingredient. And for a defensive guy, it's hard for me to plan against you when I don't know where your go-to is. Now I have to play you honest. Now I can't roll coverage to a certain receiver. Now I can't stack the box in certain down and distances because, in my opinion, from watching Drake May, you don't have a tail. And we haven't even got to the special teams unit.
That's true.
Who last week, you already saw they put up a touchdown and had a couple of major stops on the special team side. And then defensively, they play exactly like their head coach. Discipline, they swarm, and they play extremely physical. Right? You have that Jackson Dart, how that was, how that felt to run around on that defense.
That's right.
So when I watch them from top to bottom, I look at their head coach and the values and the leadership style which he has. They have what I think it takes to not only go through the playoffs, but get to the Super Bowl and be very, very successful there. So I got to go with the Patriots.
Doesn't hurt that the road to the Super Bowl probably is going to go through Foxborough unless Denver's able to catch them for home field advantage. And they've got a coach in Vrabel that Tennessee is still melting down over letting go. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. In the NFC, we've seen the reigning defending Super Bowl champions fade. A lot of friction going on, and there's something just doesn't seem right. Dallas was making us interested in them again, and then they went to bed the other day. No surprise there. But we look at when we look at the Packers, we just saw them beat Chicago. The Rams and the Seahawks, I cannot ignore.
Yeah.
I cannot ignore because of their defenses, and in the case of the Rams, because of Puka Nacua and obviously the great Matthew Stafford. But Jordan Love has given indications that he might be ready to elevate his game to another level come postseason time. Who are you looking at in the NFC?
I've always been high on the Rams, Stephen A., and this is why. They have a young defense that is fast and they're disciplined. On the offensive side of the ball, you mentioned Matt Stafford, you mentioned Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, you got Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, who also had a big day yesterday. What I said earlier in this season before it began was when you factor in Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams is probably one of the best, if not the best currently, one-on-one receiver as the X wide receiver. For those of you who don't know what the X wide receiver is, it's that weak side wide receiver that stands solo against everybody else. What does that do? What luxury is that for Matt Stafford? Matt Stafford is able to pre-diagnose what defense you're running. Why? Because if you don't have a safety over there, Stephen A., the ball is going to Devontae Adams 10 times out of 10, and it usually goes to him in the red zone.
That's right.
Devontae Adams
and he
leads,
usually converts.
And usually converts. And you see that, especially down in the low red on the goal line. You'll see Matt Stafford send somebody in motion, and if he sees the defender follow him, he already knows you're in the one coverage that he loves is cover one. And if number 17 is ISO'd one-on-one with anybody, he's going to him every single time. Now, if you send a safety over there, Stephen A., he's going to look where's number 12?
There you go.
And he's going to get number 12 the ball. So if you put both safeties back there, Stephen A., guess what? He's going to hand the ball off. Right. So they pose a dilemma for every single defense that you can't beat them. Why? Because with all of those weapons at his disposal, Matt Stafford is playing some of his best football he's ever played. He's playing with them, Stephen A. You understand?
Does that thought, he's special, no doubt, but does that thought process still hold weight even if the road to the Super Bowl has to go through Seattle? I'm talking about a road game in Seattle. I have no doubt. You saw the SoFi Stadium, different animal. Yeah. But if they got to go to Seattle, that crowd, that 12th man, it's a little bit different, ain't it?
Well, it's going to be different. However, if you look at what they did last year at the Link,
true,
where they're one play away from representing the NFC,
that's true.
One play. In that snow against not this Eagles team, the 2024 Eagles team, the team that Saquon almost broke Eric Dickerson's single-season rushing record. That was the team that they went into the Link and fought against. This team, the Rams team this year, they're far better than that team that they were last year. So I also take into consideration that somebody like Sean McVay, who I think is one of the best head coaches in the entire NFL.
Maybe the best in the business.
I would take Sean McVay anywhere and everywhere against whoever they're playing because of what he stands for. And you see him on the sideline, Stephen A., getting his guys ready and motivating them. He's not one of those head coaches that just stands on the sideline and just calls plays. He goes to the bench. He gets the guys ready. When people make mistakes, he greets them first, tries to encourage them. He does everything that you would want a head coach to do as a player, myself, to help bring the best out of me. And so that's why all facets, I think, the Rams.
Last question for you. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, first of all, they got a Monday night game tonight against the Chargers. Want to know what you think about that game. And number two, have you lost faith in the Eagles' chances to repeat?
I have. And this is the reason. I think there's been so much attention that has been on the whole Jalen Hurts versus A.J. Brown and getting A.J. Brown the ball, where they lost focus on what truly makes this offense go, and that's the run game.
Is that their fault or Saquon Barkley's fault?
It's a team game, isn't it?
I understand, and Lane Johnson being out certainly doesn't help matters. But I mean, listen, I spoke to the LAPD. There's APB out for Saquon Barkley, man. I mean, we've been looking for him.
Yeah.
I mean, where the hell 2,005 yards rushing last year? Where the hell you at this year? I mean, come on.
So there's a dynamic when I watch this Eagles team that I think is it was prevalent last year. It isn't this year, and that was Jalen Hurts running the ball, at least being a threat to run the ball in the run game. When you have a quarterback and a running back in this RPO system that they used to run, where the running back can go left, but the quarterback can go right. Defensively, I can't commit to one guy. Right. When I watch the Eagles play, there isn't that much of a threat in this RPO system of Jalen pulling the ball and running it. They used to run things where the tight end would come around and lead block for Jalen, and he would pull it and run for you. They don't really run that anymore. So defensively, when I know that you're in shotgun, I can almost bet that Saquon Barkley is getting this ball. And when you have so much attention on one guy, you're not going to have the type of progress that you had last year. And when you don't have that in the run game, your pass game, which is your counterpunch, which I think that the Eagles were last year. The reason why A.J. Brown was open so many times, Stephen A., is because the defenses were so scared about the run game that those safeties had to come down. That's why those deep shots kept coming, and they kept raining last year. But now, since defenses can keep that two shell back there and that front seven can beat up that run game, it's not as dynamic. It's not as explosive. So
Are they winning tonight? Are they beating the Chargers tonight, bro? I mean, I know NFL Network is right nearby.
Yeah.
So far, you know what I'm saying? And, you might run into some of the Chargers. So, I mean,
I am a Charger, you know what I mean?
I know that. That's where you were first 5-6 years ago. I got it. I got it, but, I understand. It's okay.
I'll say yes. I'll say the Chargers are going to win this one, and this is why. If Jalen Carter isn't in the game, that run game,
he's not.
Exactly. If he's not in that game, we saw what happened week 1 when he got disqualified, what the Dallas Cowboys were able to do to that 3 technique and move the interior of that line. Mm-hmm. So if you have that, and knowing that the Chargers want to actually run the ball, and with Justin Herbert, with whatever's going on with his left hand, can't really throw it down the field for whatever reason, even though he's right-handed, I'm going to give the nod to the Chargers.
I got you.
I got to.
You're going with the Chargers. You're going with the Chargers. By the way, I'm not blaming everything on the offensive coordinator. I think Patullo, it's a problem, but in the same breath, you're Sirianni. You got the same crew of dudes. You should have been able to mimic to some degree, some strong degree, what you had last year, and you didn't do it. That's where I'm at. My man.
Brother.
Proud of you, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Keep up the great work. No doubt. Don't come take my job.
No, ain't nobody touching you,
I got 4 years left. I got 4 years left. All right. One and only man, Tateo, right here with the one and only Stephen A. Smith. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. It's 888-623-3646. I'm going to transition because I got another special guest coming on the line. Got a big-time basketball program. Coach Close. She's doing some special things out there in Westwood. So she's going to be in the house. Looking forward to talking to her as well. And, of course, I loved talking to him. I love feeling edified, you know what I'm saying, when all of a sudden you're listening to somebody that played, damn it, because I never want to play football. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. I don't want that. I don't want that part of life, okay? I like sitting right where I am, all right?
Yeah.
Right
You're my brother, bro. You're on my team.
Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, back with more in a minute.